ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्वसे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजय आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 88, verse number 3. In the previous class we read that King Parikshit asked a question to Sri Sukdev that among devas, human beings and asuras also, it is seen that mostly they worship Lord Shiva, and although Shiva is dressed in an Ashiva manner, and they are seen that they are opulent, have wealth. On the other hand, those who worship the husband of goddess of wealth, they seem to be poor. So why is this discrepancy in the worshippers of these two lords? So Sri Sukadeva Goswami, he replies here, Shiva Shakti Yuta Shashvat Trilingo Guna Sambritaha Vaikarikas Tejasascha Tamsascha Itiham Tridha. So his reply is that Lord Shiva is Shakti Yukta Shashvat Trilinga Guna Sambrita, that he is endowed with Shakti and he has Trilinga, means he is endowed with the three gunas of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Guna Sambrita is covered by them. And Tato Vikara Bhavan Shodasham Mesho Kanchana Ubdhavan Vibhuti Nam Sarvasham Asnute Gati. And then from these three gunas there are further manifestations. These three gunas are the gunas of Prakriti, and then there is Aham. Aham means Ahankar. Then there are three divisions of Ahankara: Sattvik Ahankara, Rajasic Ahankara and Tamasic. And then from that there are 16 further modifications. There are 10 senses, mind and Panch Mahabhutas. So those people who worship any one of these things, then they get the benefit of worshipping the Prakriti, and all this wealth, power is all material. So they get material opulence for that. And Vishnu is not like that. In India, many people are afraid to worship Vishnu. They think that if you worship Vishnu, then he will give some trouble to you to test you. And Shiva is easily pleased. So that's another reason. And therefore he is called Bhole Baba. Bhole means that he is very simple, straightforward, or rather naive. So you approach him, you ask him, he gives. And that's what some people think. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti comments, he says, Shaktiya Maya Yuta Sansrishta. So Shaktiya Yuta means he is endowed with Maya. So, and this Maya consists of the three gunas, Gunai Samvrita. Asman Kripaya Svikuruiti Vritatvat. Because the gunas, they approached Shiva and said, please accept us, nobody wants us, so you take. And Shiva, being Bhole Baba, he took. He says, no problem, you can hang around me. Trilingam, Trigunmaya. So Trilingam means that this Maya is consisting of the three gunas. Na to Jiva eva tair balad baddha iti bhava. So the meaning is that it is not that Maya is forcibly catching Shiva, but he has accepted her. So therefore he is along with it, but he is also the controller. Trigunmayatvam vivranoti Vaikarika. Then he describes this Trigunmaya as Vaikarika, Tajasa and Tamasa. Vaikarika means Sattvic, Tajas, Rajasic, and Tamas is Tamas. Aham Tridha, and then there is Ahankara of three types. Aham here does not mean the ego, but the Ahankara Tattva. Saeva Trividho Bhavati Eva Ityartha. So that Ahankara is of three types. Therefore Shiva has got the Trishul in his hand. So he is controlling the three gunas, three Ahankaras. He is also the Devata of Ahankara. Shiva. Brahma of Buddhi, Chandrama of Manas, Vasudeva of Chitta. So these are various devatas. Vikara Sodashati. So Vikara means this Sodash 16, which are the Indriyanam, Devanam cha Vedat, Tani Dasha. So there are 10 senses, and it also includes 10 Devas. Each sense has got one Deva, presiding deity. Then Manas, there is Mana, one. Bhutani Pancha, and then there are Panch Bhutas, the 5 great elements. Amishu Madhya Kinchanaiti, among these people worship any one of them, then they get the benefit, because all these gunas are always mixed together. They are always together. So like the 3 strands of a rope intertwined, always anya milita sarve sarvatra gamina. So it is described in Sankhya Karika that they are mixed with all, and sarve sarvatra gaminas, they go everywhere. Natadisti prithivyam va devi deva suvapana yat sattva bhirmukta. Krishna also says this in Bhagavad Gita, that in this universe there is nothing which is free from these 3 gunas. Everything is Trigunamaya. So people worship them, Apastya Javya Manasam Vasukam Uddishya Ubdhavan Shivam Bhajan. So they worship Shiva. Why do they worship? Apastya for sensual pleasure, Jiva for the pleasure of tongue or the mind. So they Sarvasam eva vibhuti nam sappanti nam gatim swarupam prapnoti. And by worshipping him they attain all types of opulences. Tesam paraspar shapekshatvad ek praptavu api sarvasya sukhani prapnoti. Because these gunas, they are sapeksha, they are mutually dependent on each other. Although they also work against each other, but they also assist each other. So if one gets any one of them, the others also come with it. So in this way they get all types of sense pleasures. Tat sukha eva sarv sampatti nam paryapter bhajantartamya tattartamyam prapnoti. So that happiness is because of the attainment of all these types of opulences. How much one gets, that depends on the intensity of their bhajan, service, and thus corresponding blessings from Shiva. Ata Sivasya gunmayatvat sampadam api trigunmayatvat tad bhajne tad praptiriti na tadukta virodha iti bhava. So because Shiva is Gunmaya, he is endowed with the gunas, and all this sampatti, the wealth, opulences, they are also coming from these 3 gunas. So therefore by worshipping him, people get this sampatti, and thus there is no contradiction. So what Parikshit Maharaj said, that is true, and he explains the reason why they get it. And now he explains why the devotees of Hari do not get. So he says, Harirhi nirgunaha sakshat purushaha prakritehe paraha sa sarvadrik updrashta tam bhajan nirguno bhavet. He says Bhagavan Hari is completely free from the gunas. He is nirguna. So he is not touched by any of these 3 gunas. He is a Purusha, he is Sakshat Purusha, he is pure being, and he is beyond the Prakriti, beyond Mahatattva, beyond Ahankara, he is beyond all that. And he is Sarvadrik, he knows everything, although he is beyond, but that does not mean that he is ignorant of this. He also knows all this. So he is Sarudrik, he is Sarvagya and Upadrashta, and he is witness of all the things, all the activities. Tam bhajan nirguno bhavet. By worshipping him, the worshipper, the devotee, also becomes nirguna. And thus nirguna means beyond the gunas, where all the opulence is there. Kuto nirgunaha yataha prakritahe para. Why is he nirguna? Because he is beyond the prakriti. Swata eva gunanatikramya sthita. So he is situated beyond the three gunas of prakriti. Ato gunatitasya bhajanat katham gunmayi sampadam prapnuyuriti bhava. So what is the implication of saying this, that he is nirguna? He says if you worship him, then you are not going to get guna. You will also become gunatit. You will also go beyond the gunas. So therefore you will lose you are not going to get wealth by that. How he says, how will he get the wealth which is coming from the three gunas? Sarvesham sivadinam api jnanam yata sahiti. So the jnana of Shiva etc. also comes from him. Therefore he is called Sarvadrik. Tam bhajan jnana chakshu prapnoti netu sampad budbhutam ajnana andhyamiti. So by worshipping him, one attains jnana chakshu, or the eye of knowledge. Jnana timirandasya, jnananjan shalakya. And therefore one does not get wealth which makes you blind. Like Nalkobar, Manikriva, how they were blinded by the wealth. So anybody who gets wealth, some pride comes along with it. So it is very rare that somebody becomes rich and then does not increase his pride with that. So generally, not everybody, but generally speaking, with wealth comes pride. Janmashvare Shruti Srivir Edamana Madapaman. Kunti Devi says that these things increase your pride. Edamana, Janma, high birth, Aishwarya, opulence, education, beauty. People become proud. So therefore they go away from Bhagavan. Upadrashta is also called Upadrashta. Gunalepa bhavato dasinyena keval shakshi. So Upadrashta means he is dispassionate. Means he sees but he does not get implicated in it. He is just a witness. And tam bhajanapi gunlep rahito nirguno bhavet. Therefore, when you worship somebody, then you naturally get the qualities of the person whom you worship. So their qualities come in the worshipper. Atev agre vakshate yatah shantir yato bhayam dharma sakshat yato jnanam vairagyam cha tadanvitam ityadi. Therefore later on it will be said, from whom comes peace, fearlessness, dharma, knowledge, renunciation. So all these qualities come by worshipping Vishnu, not Sampatti. Nivritteshu asvamedheshu raja yusmat pitamaha Śrīmad Bhāgavato dharmana prichhadidam achyutam. Now Sukadeva Goswami says that this very question was asked by Yudhishthira Maharaj to Sri Krishna. after the yajna was over. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj's horse sacrifice Ashwamedha yajna was over, then he says that your grandfather Yudhishthira, he asked Sri Krishna from whom he was listening, Śrīmad-Bhāgavata dharman prichhadidam achyutam. So he was asking various replies on the topic of dharma from him. Then he asked this very question to him. Sahay bhagvans tasmai prita sushrūshave prabhu nirnam nishreyasarthaya avtirno yadokuloi. So at that time Bhagwan, who appears here among human beings for uplifting them in the Yadava dynasty, he replied, being very pleased with Yudhishthira Maharaj, who was eager to listen to him. So this is what he said. It's a famous sloka and not very likable by people. So Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Bhagavan said this, Yasya aham anugranami harishye tadhanam shanaihi tato dhanam tajantyasya svajana dukkha dukkhitam. So Sri Krishna says that when I want to bless somebody, then slowly I take away his wealth. Then when his wealth is taken away, then his relatives leave him. Because relatives are there as long as you have wealth. If you cannot support them, then some good ones will still stick to you, but other ones, they will say bye bye, Mr. Bhai. Right? So tado adhanam tajanti asya swajana dukkha dukkhitam. So then all the relatives, they leave him because he is very dukkhi now, he is suffering because of no money. And in that situation he takes shelter of Bhagavan, it depends on him. So this way Bhagavan increases his eagerness. So generally devotees become scared of this sloka. But the thing is that it is not that he takes away everybody's wealth. Only those who are interested in bhakti and they are still having attachment to wealth, only there he takes away. But if you are interested in bhakti and you are not attached to wealth, then he doesn't take it away. Why should he take it away? Basically he takes away something which is causing obstacle to your progress in bhakti. So if wealth is becoming an obstacle, then he removes the obstacle. So what is wrong with that? After all, you also want it, but you don't know that this is an obstacle. But if somebody is actually dispassionate, then he gives wealth also. Yudhishthira was very opulent. It says that he has more opulence than Indra, Suraspraha. The devatas even yearned for that. His wealth. So it is not that he makes everybody, so don't worry. He takes away only from those. Of course, first you have to have it. You don't have it, what is he going to take from you? So there is a nice commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti. Dukhat dhan vigam janyadapi punar dukkhitam. So in this sloka he says Tajanti dukkha dukkhitam. So what is dukkhitam? It says first he has the dukkha, suffering, because he is lost his wealth, dhanvigam janyat. And then he has more dukkha, that his relatives also leave him. Swajana ka kartrika tyagat. So dukkha dukkhita. The wealth leaves, and along with the wealth some relatives also leave. Because if there is no money, then what good are you? When you have wealth, you get more friends, more relatives. When you become poor, you get more time to yourself. Right? There is less visitors coming to you. There is another problem. You don't have wealth, but people think you have. That is also a problem. And also they trouble you more. So dukhamidam bhagavad dattatvat tasya na karam phalam sukhamapi bhagavad bhakta nam na karam phalam. So now he says that this suffering which is coming to him, it is not coming because of the outcome of his past bad karma. And similarly, if happiness is coming to devotees, happiness here means some good material situation, that is also not because of karam phala. Kintu bhakter ananu samhitam phalam. But that is like the side effect, concomitant effect of bhakti. Pratham skandhe dharmasya hi apvargasya iti atra. Because in the first canto it is said dharmasya hi apvargasya narthartha kalpate. Narthasya dharme kantasya kamo labha smrita. That dharma is not meant to give you wealth, richness. And bhishmokte pratipaditam. Bhishma has also said this, that this wealth, etc., is not because of dharma. So bhaktanam bhakti matre pravritta eva aprarabdha kūta bija prarabdha karmanam kramena nasa. Because it is said in Padma Purana, aprarabdha phalam papam kūtam bijam phalam phalonmukam kramena eva praviliyante Vishnu bhakti ratatmanam. That when somebody engages in Vishnu bhakti or Krishna bhakti, then his aprarabdha, kūta, bija, and then prarabdha, gradually they all are destroyed. All karmas go away. So therefore, kramena nasa utpal shastradal bhedanvatiti bhakti shastra matam. Like if there are many leaves of lotus flower stacked one on top of other, and you put a needle into it, so one by one they get pierced. So like that one becomes free from first aprarabdha karma, then kūt karma, then bij karma, then prarabdha karma. So one is freed like that. So this is the opinion of Bhakti Shastra. Tathacha Shrutir, in the Vedas also it is said, Gopal Tapni, Shruti says, Bhakti Rasya Bhajanam Tadiha Mutra Upadhi Nairashyena Amusmin Mane Kalpanam Etadeva Neskarmi. So this is a famous statement from Gopal Tapni Upanishad that Bhakti means doing bhajan, that means seva. And that, what does it really mean? It says to fix your mind on Krishna without any desire for any material things here in this life or next life. And this is called Neskarmya. So Neskarmya means that you become free from karma by doing this. Arthasya upadhi narashyena kamna rahityena. So upadhi narashya means that doing bhakti without any material desire. Anyabhilashita sunyam. Manay kalpanam Krishna manay adi sarvendriyadi viniyoga. Manay kalpanam means that you fix your mind in Krishna, and mind implies all other senses also. So savai manay Krishna padara vindya vachansi vaikuntha gunanuvarnane. So like that Ambarish Maharaj. So yat tadeva bhajanam. So this is called bhajan. And etada eva bhajanam eva neskarmim. So this bhajan itself is called neskarmya. Means by doing this you are free from karma. Hi tatparyat tat shabdam. So bhavati hi tatparyat tat shabdam. So he says from tatparya it is understood that this shabda bhajanam refers to neskarmyam. Atah samanadhikaranyad bhajane pravritte eva bhaktanam neskarmyam sarvakarm dhamso bhavati. So therefore in the mantra of Gopal Tapani, bhaktirasya bhajanam, and then he says that etadeva neskarmyam. So bhajanam and neskarmyam, they have samanadhikaranya, means they have same vibhakti, which means they have equal, they are equal to each other, like qualifier and qualified. So you have to put them in same vibhakti. So therefore when one becomes engaged in bhajan, then bhaktas become neskarmya, all their karma is destroyed. Deha sthitistu bhajanadhikya tatfal pratipadhika bhagavad achintya shakte reveti. So then why the body is still maintained then? Because if karma is over, then body should drop down. This question we discussed earlier also. So it says bhajan adhikya tatfal pratipadak bhagavad achintya shakti. Because you have to still attain perfection in bhakti. It is not that karma is dropped and you have become perfect. You have not become perfect yet. So you still need to do more sadhana. And therefore body is maintained for that by the inconceivable power of the Bhagavan. Ye tu prarabdha phalaiva sukh dukhe drishyate te bhagavad datte eva. But what is seen, that still some happiness and some suffering is coming to a devotee. So from where does it come? So he says this is given by Bhagavan and not by karma. And this was said in the Shruti, where we also studied this topic. Yaduktam Shruti bhir bhavadutta subha shubhayoriti. So in Sloka 40, 87th chapter it was said that Tadavgami na veti bhavadutta subha shubha guna viguna anvayansta tarhi deha vritam cha gira. That Tadavgami, who knows you, means who is engaged in devotion to you. So then he takes everything as coming from you, good or bad. And he is not disturbed by that happiness or distress, or if deha bhritam chagira, if the other people criticize. So there also it was said like that. Bhaktavatsalo Bhagavan bhaktebhya katham dukham dadati iti chet. Now a question can be raised that Bhagavan is very gracious, very merciful, very compassionate. He loves his devotees. Aham bhakta paradhina. I am under the control of my bhaktas. Madanyate na jananti naham tebhyo managapi. I don't know anything other than my devotees. They also don't know anything other than me. So how can he give suffering to his devotees? He loves his devotees, and if you love somebody, you don't want to give suffering to that person. Love means giving happiness, right? So how can Bhagavan give suffering to his bhaktas then? So he says Satyam, this is true. So Satyam means yes, but Putra Vatsalo api Pita Putrebhyo Bhogaduri Karnene Adhyanadi Krichnam Dadati Tad Vatsalyam Seva Janati Netu Tadanim Tatputra Apiti. Says it just like a father who has great affection for his son, but the son does not want to go to school, he wants to play. So father knows that he has to go to school now. If he doesn't go to school, he will have problem once he grows up. How will he function in the society without education? So he must get education, therefore he stops him from his play, from his enjoyment, and makes him study. So that seems like a punishment. But that is out of affection, not to punish. And that is because the child is ignorant. And the father knows that he is doing good to the son. So therefore he says that Bhagavan also does that. So tad vatsalyam saeva janati natut. But the son does not understand this. He may become angry, upset, throw tantrum, cry. Why don't let me play and you're asking me to study or go to school? So it seems like father is punishing, but it's not a punishment. It's for his good. So nacha prahlad dhruvadibhyo bhog sampatti sukh matra danat sadhakebhyev. So there is something missing here. The two lines missing. So sadhakebhyev hitarthina bhagavata dukkham diyate iti vachyam. So one may say that Bhagavan gives trouble only to the sadhakas, but not to those who are Siddha Bhaktas like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj. They were given kingdoms. Prahlad got the kingdom of his father. Dhruva also got the kingdom of his father. So Prahlad Dhruvadibhyo bhog sampatti sukh matra danat. So he only gave them happiness, no trouble. So therefore, does it mean that he only gives trouble to his sadhakas because he knows that this sadhaka needs to be corrected? So Bhagavan is hitarthi. His intention is to do good, so therefore he gives trouble to them. Is it the case? So he says, no siddha siromani nam yudhishtradi nam api yatra dharma sato raja ityatra sruhit krishna tato. He says, no, that is not true. He gave trouble to even those who are perfected beings like Yudhishthira Maharaj. So even Bhishma, he spoke this slokas. Yatra dharma sato raja gadapani vrikodara krishna astri gandhi vachapam sruhid krishna tato dukham tato vipat. He says, look where the king was Dharmasutta, the son of Dharma, Yudhishthira Maharaj. And the younger brother was Gadapani Vrikodara, Bhima, who is so powerful. 10,000 elephants walking. Compact power. It was more than 10,000. 10,000 he got, but he also had power before. Maybe 15,000 or 20,000. And then we had Arjuna, who had Gandhi with him and whose friend was Krishna, and still they were in trouble, and big trouble. They were sitting in palace one day and next day they are in the forest. They don't know where they will eat. They cannot even go for begging food. So much trouble and insult. So therefore Bhismokte Dukkha Shravanat. So therefore Bhishma says that it is inconceivable that these people are getting so much trouble, and therefore he says Tasmat nahi yasya karichid rajan puman veda viditsitam Bhismokte. So nahi yasya karichid rajan puman veda viditsitam yad vijikshaya bhakta muhyante kavyopihi. He says no one can understand the intention of Bhagavan. What is he trying to do? But one thing is that he is compassionate to his devotees. So whatever he is doing for their good only. And that is the faith one has to have. Otherwise, even Bhishma said that he cannot understand that why these people, Kunti, Pandavas, they suffered, and they not for a short period. For a long period they suffered. So that's why he says, Nahi yasya karichit rajan puman veda vedasita. He says no one can understand what is he trying to do. It's impossible. So, ti bhismoktes tasya vidhitsitam samahitam yat tadapi tatre vidrishyam. So he says what he does, why he does, what is the solution, that also you have to read Bhishma's prayers. They are explained there. Nanu cha swakarmotha yo bhagavaduthayo cha sukh dukhiyor bhogyattvena tulyatvat ko vishesha. So now another interesting question is raised, that one gets happiness and distress as an outcome of one's karma. And then Bhagavan also sends happiness and distress, which is not outcome of karma. So what is the difference between this happiness which comes because of karma or which is sent by Bhagavan? Is there any difference or they are same? This is question raised. So uchyate, this is replied here. Dharmothanam sukh dukkhanam bhogene api tadbijam tishthatyeva tadvatam narak patascha karam taritamyavatam sukh dukh tartamyam chaiti tritiyam bhavet. So he says this is the distinction between them, and this should be noted down, that the happiness or distress which is coming out of karma. So number one, when that happiness or distress will be over, because you will get certain amount of happiness because of good karma, certain amount of suffering due to bad karma. Once that karma is over, that happiness or distress will be over. But still the seed will remain, the samskaras will remain. They will trouble you later on to give you some desire. You enjoy it, now you have the vasana to enjoy. So it is a loop. So that is one thing. So therefore it says bhogena api tadbijam tishtati eva. So the seed still remains. Then they can also go to hell, narakpata, for bad karma. As an outcome of bad karma, they can go. And their happiness and distress will be according to the gradation of their good karma. Very nice good karma, you can go to heaven. Not so nice good karma, You can get chocolate here. Right? So some happiness is coming from the chocolate, but not like being in the heaven. So tartamya is there, gradation, happiness. Sukh dukh tartamya. So therefore these are the three differences, which means that in case of a devotee, when Bhagavan is sending happiness, distress, there is no seed for that later on you will be troubled. There is no going to hell. Devotee does not go to hell. And number three, there is no question of tartamya, that he is going to send you to heaven and this and that. Everything is here, and whatever he wants to give, he gives. So Bhagavat Utthanam tu Bhagavat Ichchaiva Bijam. In case of things which are coming from Bhagavan, his will, his wish itself is the seed, there is no more seed. So once you stop giving, then there is nothing else remaining. Sacha prayojan paryanta eva na todatra. So that seed remains only as long as Lord wishes it to happen, and after that nothing remains. That means once the happiness and distress sent by Bhagavan is over, it is over. No more seed. Number two is going to hell. He says devotees, they don't go to hell because Jivane Bhakti Bhagavad Gunnam Devamiti Yamukte Tadvatana Narakpata. So this is a nice sloka which Yamaraj told to his servants. Jivane Bhakti Bhagavad Gunnam Deyam Chetaschana Smrti Tacharnar Vindam Krishnaya Nonam Te Yachraye Kadapi Tananaya Dhamasato Krit Vishnu Krityan. So he says, please bring to me only those people whose tongue does not utter the name of Bhagavan or his qualities, whose mind does not remember Bhagavan even or his feet, and whose head does not bow down to him even once. Only such sinful people are to be brought to me. Means anybody akrit Vishnu Krityan, those who have not done any devotional activity, they should be brought to me, not others. Means devotee doesn't go to hell. Okay, so na narakpata bhagavata sneh patratvat. Because devotees are very affectionate to Bhagavan, therefore they don't go to hell. And na dukhatishrayaschaiti karmotha bhagavadutthayo satrukrita matrikrita gatra taranatthayoriva dukhyor vishamritayoriva kutastullata iti vivechni. And the devotees also don't get suffering like you can get as an outcome of karma. He says it's just like an enemy who beats you and your mother may beat you. So Shatrukrit and Matrikrit Gatratar. So the pain which comes from hitting done by the mother is not like the one which enemy will hit you, because their intentions are different. So he says although the slap given by mother is also painful, but in comparison to slap given by an enemy, it is nectar. And the slap of the enemy is like poison. So they are not same. Now he raises one more question. Nanucha sarv samarthasya bhagavato bhakta dukkhadanam vina kim tat prayojanam na siddhet. He says whatever Bhagavan is trying to achieve by giving some pain to his devotees, suffering to his devotee, can he not achieve it without giving suffering? It's like many times people ask that people are suffering, why God does not remove this suffering for all the people? Why has he made this material world? He is capable of doing, why he doesn't do it? So again he says Satyam. So this is called half acceptance. the svikar. But yes, he can do it, but he doesn't do it. So he says, Lila nidhes tasya eva evam siddhe deva. He says he is the ocean of bliss, so he can certainly achieve this, there is no doubt. Bhakti yogasya, but why he doesn't do it? Now he gives the same reasons where he gave earlier also in sloka 40th of previous chapter. Todavgami Navedta Subhashavya. So he says, to protect the secret of bhakti, nananya matanam utkhata bhavartham, not to uproot the other schools or other paths, and bhakti utkantha vivardhanartham, and to increase the eagerness of his devotees. Kvachit priyabhyo dukdanam api tat sukhodarkam eva. He says sometimes this giving suffering to his devotees is also pleasurable in the outcome. Although at that time it is troublesome, the outcome is bad. And he gives an example, yatha nainabhyam katutar anjanadav. It's like sometimes you apply some ointment to your eye, and some ointment, when you apply them to your eye, they hurt the eye, but they are actually good for the eyesight. So although at that moment there is a pain, but the outcome is good. It cleans the eye, all the impurities come out. So like that he gives trouble, and it is painful at that time, but the outcome is that the devotee becomes purified. Like throwing raw gold into the fire and burning the impurity. Then it shines. So therefore he says, Sukhodarkam. Tathahi yadi bhaktaha sada sukhineva kritasyu tada paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritamiti gitokta nimitta bhave sati Krishna Ramadi avatarapi nasyu. So he says that if Bhagavan will always give happiness to his devotees, then there will be no need for him to come and become manifest here as an avatara. Because he says that he comes to protect his devotees and to destroy the miscreants. But if devotees are always happy and they have no trouble, then he has no need to come here. So then there will be no more avatar. And then what will happen to all the fake avatars? Because they will also not be able to say we are avatar, because there are no more avatar. So apinasyu, and then one word is missing here also. Yadicha nasyu tada rasa dililamr sindhu bhaktanam khelnam katham syat. So one may say, what is the loss if he doesn't come here? He says the loss is then you will also not have his nice pastime like Ras Lila, which you now talk about, listen. Then these pastimes will not be available to him, because it's not that he only comes to kill the demons. He also plays with his friends, Gop Lila, Gocharan Lila, Ras Lila, pastime with his parents, right? So all this will not be there. Nanucha sadhu dukha tranatmak nimittam vinapi tasya avatare ko dosha syat. So now he poses one more question. He says, what is the problem? He cannot come without removing the trouble of his devotees. He can also come without that. Why he cannot come? He says, paritranaya sadhunam. He says, he can just come. So then he says, Satyam. He said, this is true, but Bhav bhratas tavna rasabhigyo yasi. He says, it is true, but my brother, you don't know what is rasa. Therefore you are talking like this. So let me tell you, Shruyatam, listen. Yaminyam satyam eva suryodaya sobhate. He said, just because there is night, the morning looks beautiful. If there was no night and it was day and day and day and day only, then there will be no thing was sunset, so nice sunset or so nice sunrise. Grisme sati eva sital amba sukhada. It's only when it is hot that the cool water gives you pleasure. If there is no heat, then cool water is not going to give you anything great. Sita sati eva ushnasya, and when it is cold, then only warm water gives you happiness. Right? Tamsi eva deepa shobhate natu prakase. The beauty of light, lamp is only at night, not in sunlight. Sunlight you don't even see it. All the lighting which you do appears good only at night. Shuddh pidayam satyam eva annam niti swadu. The food tastes only if you are hungry. If you are not hungry, what is the taste in food? You say, oh, I don't feel like. He says, have this chocolate. No, not now. He says, really take small piece. So then you say, okay, I take it. But it's not that you are dying to have a piece of chocolate. So you have to have also some hunger. So therefore you should know that when some trouble is there, then his pastime become great. If there was no Ravan, there will be no Ramayana. If there were no Asuras, so many of these stories will not happen. The 90 chapters of Bhagavatam will be only 20 chapters. So they became 90 because of the so many Asuras. Till the end, Shashupal is coming, Dantavakra is coming. It's full. So iti alamati vistrena. He says, okay, enough of explanation. I leave you now. Okay, if there is any question.
Maharaj, in the commentary of verse number 5 to 7, there is a line, Sarvesham Shivadinampi Jnanam Yatah Sa Iti. So he means to say the Gyan of Shiv and other Devtas come from him. This is what he means to say?
Yeah.
Okay, and then in the commentary of verse number 8, there is a line, He Tatparyat Tat Shabdam. To which he is he talking about?
There is no he in this. I try to think from where is the he coming. But there is no he in this Bhakti Rasya Bhajanam. So I don't know what he talks here. I think he's not talking about the word he, but he says bhavati hi tatparyat tat shabdam. That because of the tatparya, he is in the nishya-artha. That certainly because of the tatparya, that word has been used. Means this naskarmyam is used because it gives the tatparya of bhajanam. Not that it's talking about he shabda, because there is no he shabda here.
So वो सेंटेंस इकट्ठा ही है, भवति ही तात्पर्यात् शब्द. फिर उसकी 2 लाइंस के बाद आता है कि दे स्थितिस्तु भजन आधिक्य तत्फल प्रतिपादक भगवत अचिंत्य शक्ति रेव. ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि उनका भजन अभी सिद्ध नहीं हुआ है, उसके भजन को बढ़ाने के लिए उनकी देह की स्थिति बनाए रखते हैं. और ये उनकी अचिंत्य शक्ति का ही फल है.
हाँ, क्योंकि कर्म फल तो है नहीं ना.
और एक जो ये तीसरा ये जो 3 रीजंस बताए कि क्या डिफरेंस है भगवान के द्वारा जो सुख दुख दिया जाता है और जो अपने कर्म के द्वारा जो उचित सुख दुख है, उसमें जो तीसरा डिफरेंस बताया कर्म तारतम्यवताम,
Gradation.
ये समझ नहीं आया, ये क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं?
Because if there is a bad karma, somebody has intense bad karma, then there will be intense suffering. And less bad karma, there is less suffering. But when Bhagwan is giving, there is no such tartamya. It is just by his will how much he wants to give.
तो उसमें भी तो तारतम्य हो सकता है भगवान
Yeah,
का
but
भी।
it is not depending on any karma. Everything is by his will. Nothing is separate.
तो डिफरेंस क्या हुआ? वो भगवान के द्वारा तारतम्य दिया हुआ है।
But it is not necessary. That's why I'm saying that there has to be tartamya. There it has to be. If there is a karma tartamya, there has to be the phal tartamya. But here it is not necessary that he is going to give tartamya. He may give, he may not give.
ठीक।
All the Pandavas underwent suffering. You think they all had the same karma or anything? Nothing.
एक बस लास्ट डाउट था, जो थर्ड वाले की कमेंट्री में जो पहली लाइन ही आ रही है, शक्त्या माया युत संसृष्ट गुणे संवृत अस्मान कृपया स्वीकुरु इति वृत्तत्वात्। तो ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि गुण जो हैं वो कह रहे हैं कि आप कृपा करके हमें स्वीकार कर लीजिए शिव जी से। ठीक।
पुरुषोत्तम प्रभु।
I have a question regarding Naishkarmya. There is two different meanings for Naishkarmya. One is for the bhakti related and one is for the karma yoga. Then
Karma yoga?
Niskam karma yoga we say. Is it?
Yeah,
Here it says Naishkarmya means karma, sarva karma dvansa.
Yeah, that's what niskarma. That's just niskarma, without karma. Niskarmasya bhava. Niskarma means there is no karma.
But that in the words which is a Naishkarmya api achyuta bhava varjitam. How does that looks like? I see
No,
the
there
difference there.
there niskarma is translated as Brahman.
Okay. Otherwise, Naishkarmya meaning of that is the same for Skam Karma Yoga and for Bhakti.
No, niskarma means no karma. Simple.
Okay.
Niskarmasya bhava niskarma. Sya pratyaya. In bhava artha. There is a pratyaya called sya. Just like chaturvarna, chaturvarnyam. Sya.
But then here is a Sarva Karma Dvansa Bhavati.
Yeah, that's what does niskarma means.
You don't get any fall.
Yeah, so that is dvansa. That's what it means. It's get destroyed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.